However, Justin Herbert was able to march down the field with 45 seconds on the clock in LA. We get the win with a walk-off field goal. Tua sounds off after the L.
You have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
Tua Tagovailoa just airing out the dirty laundry post-game. Cam, I'll start with you. Is Tua the problem in Miami?
Man, this is op activity. I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. And I don't like it. I've said publicly, I don't like talking to Tua, man. And if you're analyzing everybody's show up mode, or you checking people's attendance during a players only meeting, what does that say about the highest paid player in that roster? What does that say about the captain of that team? What does that say about the leader on that team? Sooner or later, we're going to have to start analyzing ourselves in the mirror, because when I look at Tua Tagovailoa's performance, even though he put his team in situations to win this game, he still had 3 interceptions. It doesn't look, I don't care whose fault it was, you still put yourself in position to say, okay, well, people ain't showing up for players-only meetings. Only reason why we have players-only meetings, RC, Stephen A. Smith, is because we're not doing things good. So you've got players that's checked out. You've got players that said, nah, bro, I'm good with this, because of everybody in that locker room. When are you going to start taking it upon yourself, Tua Tagovailoa, and say, hey, bro, listen, I'm going to put up, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to muzzle certain things that has nothing to do with us winning. You did your job as far as doing what you could do to put yourself and the team in the best situation to win. But to sit up here and say, what comes from this? That's all I'm basically asking. What comes from you saying, hey, guys ain't showing up to these meetings, doing, hey, bro, you're reaching. And in any other sport, let's say basketball, because of Stephen Anthony, that's still a foul, flagrant at that, because you go into the public to spew out your emotions, and that's not how you should do it. And I'm not a fan of it.
Okay. Before I say anything else that I'm going to say, I'm going to tell you right now that Tua Tagovailoa is 21st in the NFL right now in QBR, which is not impressive. And he's second in the league in turnovers at the quarterback spot behind the one and only Geno Smith. He's second in the league. Geno's got 10, he's got 8. That's not good company to be in. Let's get that out the way first. I'm going to tell you what purpose, Cam, it serves. Mike McDaniel needs to go. The coach of the Miami Dolphins needs to go. He needs to be gone as the head coach of this franchise. He's not a leader of men. That's what this comes down to. Tua Tagovailoa is not being absolved here by any stretch of the imagination. I get what Cam is saying. I got what you've said over the last several weeks in terms of a lack of leadership, pointing the finger, tacitly or otherwise alluding to certain things. He's the quarterback. He's got the 8 turnovers on the season, 11 touchdowns. He is completing nearly 70% of his passes. Obviously, most of that is coming in the clean pocket. Don't get me started when he's under pressure. We get that part. But in the end, what it comes down to is as you see the Miami Dolphins disintegrating before our very eyes. They're not even treading water anymore. They're sinking. They're drowning. And Tua, to me, that statement, what he was making, he was calling it out. He was like, listen, man, he was basically saying, we tried everything else. And clearly, we don't have the leadership that we need here. That's really what the bottom line is. Now, I will tell y'all this, and this has nothing to do, with specifically football, RC and Cam, but I could say this, you reporter, you could say this. There's certain locales that require a little bit more. You understand? Because being in those locales, there's a lot of distractions. And when you have the mentality, there are certain places that you could be that no matter what kind of struggles you have, your attitude is the sun will shine. Not tomorrow, this afternoon. The sun will shine. The sun will shine. And you think, and there's too many people that in certain confines that get a bit comfortable. You got to have an elevated level of discipline, even more so in certain situations. We don't see that in Miami. And then if you watch Mike McDaniel's post-game comments, after Tua said what he said. He was mumbling and stumbling all over the place. If I'm an owner, a matter of fact, you know what? Play that sound Mike McDaniel's talk. This is after Tua talked. This is after the Dolphins lost this game. Watch this and tell me, if you're the owner of the Miami Dolphins, if you're the GM of the Miami Dolphins, how are you supposed to feel after watching this? Take it away.
It sounds like there was something on his mind with regard to the specific meetings with a couple individuals. Clearly, he's sending a message, but from my standpoint, everything that I've asked of the guys, they have delivered on, and so I'm sure whomever he's talking to, they'll deliver, as well as he's a direct communicator with his.
Can't take it anymore. Turn it off. Turn it off. Everything I've asked the guys to do, they've done. You're 1-5, and he said that. That's all you needed to hear.
Yeah.
I think they need a new voice in Miami.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mike McDaniel leads with the one voice that he has. Like, he's the good parent. He's the weekend parent. You know, when couples split and the kids spend the weekend with one parent and the other parent's there Monday through Friday, you got to take them to school, right? You got to make sure the homework is done. Nobody ever likes that parent as much as the other one, but they depend on that parent, right? He's the weekend parent. And so somebody else has to step up. But this was all fine and good when we were scoring 70 points against Denver and Vance Joseph's defense and when players were making plays. What I don't like, and Cam has said this for weeks, I don't like talkative Tua, right? I was waiting to comment on that. I don't like pillow talkative Tua.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay to talk, right? But there should be a Tua Tagovailoa Miami Dolphins interview rule. You can only talk about yourself. And whatever you feel about yourself and the way that you do your job, that's what I want you to talk to people about. When they ask you a question about why this team is struggling, you could say, you know why this team is struggling? I threw 3 interceptions today. Or you know why this team is struggling? We had an opportunity against the New England Patriots late in the game to tie the score or to win, and I threw an interception to Mapu. Or you know why this team is struggling? We're down 7 points to the Buffalo Bills, and I get intercepted by Terrell Bernard. You can say all of those things, and here's what I'm going to do to fix it. But when you go to a press conference or when you go to a post-game interview and you've thrown 3 interceptions, you end the game with an interception to Derwin James, and you talk about everybody else, that's deflecting. That's when you have no answers or solutions.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There are certain things that you just want to keep inside of the locker room. Cam, I'll give you the final word on this.
Yeah, Stephen A., I don't agree with you. And the reason being is great teams or good teams are never led by coaching. It's always led by the players. And one thing that I know to be true is that good coaching can get players